Hey everybody, this is Ian with The Way. Take a look at this video. Boom.
My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory. Do not purposefully misgender trans people. You do not get to decide how someone identifies. My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory.
Bam. Okay, great. I'm glad you guys saw that. I'm sure you're revved up like I am. That is way oppressive. I'm going to cover this thing. It's pronouns, right? Let's just get this over with because I feel like this is just like beating a dead horse at this point. When a person says things like this, like you will affirm me, my pronouns when he's a he and she's not, she is actually a she, and or I'm trying to get a be called zen or whatever when you're trying to refer to they. And they force that, right? This is a person basically saying, respect me by affirming what I say about myself, right? At the same time, they're basically asking you to ignore what's actually true, right? So this is the tension. This is what we feel as Christians. So the torment that's inside is that we know that something is true, but now we're being told to and almost forced to say something like that because real respect and truth are being pulled apart, right? That's just blunt, right? Here's an if someone says you have to say this even if you don't believe it, like that's not respect. Okay, so I'll just say this and just get this out here. If they say you have to say this even if you don't believe it, that's not respect. That's forcing you to go against your own mind and conscience. Mad selfish. Okay, and here, because it's basically saying my feelings matter more than your honesty, right? So think about this for a second. You're being asked to ignore what you believe is true and say something you think is false, and just so someone else feels validated, right? That's one person putting themselves above everyone else in the conversation or society or the gender, whatever. It's absurd. It's friggin' nuts. It's mad, right? Why? Because it flips reality upside down, right? Like truth doesn't matter at this point anymore. If we can't even agree about something fundamental, as in like biology of truth, like truth doesn't matter, and then agreement does somehow. So if this is more valuable agreeing than actually defending truth, right? So now honesty becomes offensive and then pretending becomes moral, like, oh, you're a fighter, you're going for it, like that makes no sense. Like somebody needs to be yelling like this is stupid, this is dumb, right? But what this actually does is it turns people into tools, like just major tool bags. So instead of speak what you believe, it becomes say what I need you to say, please say what I need you to say. Like that's not respect, dude, that's mad control. So super simple way to say this, Christian. When someone says respect me, or like when you hear respect me, that's fair, you should respect somebody 100%. But say what isn't true for me, that's like selfish, like flag, hold up. No, you're not going to reconstruct reality, bro. So you can treat somebody well 100%, right? But and speak kindly 100%, do that too for sure. But when you're required to say what you believe is false, like dude, this is where like you need to draw the line here, right? When you're asked, they're asking you to lower yourself so they can feel higher. I mean, it's just to that point, right? And it's a paradox, right? Because normally respect works like I treat you with dignity, I speak honestly about reality. Those go together. There's no pull apart, there's no tension with that, right? But here's what a demand becomes, right? If you don't agree with me, you're disrespecting me. So now truth is now equals disrespect, and then agreement equals respect, right? This is freaking nuts. It's wild. If you don't validate me, you're rejecting me. Even if you're calm and chill and these things, like you're not accepting this person, like it's freaking wild. And if you choose to tie this thing that you're trying to get me to say is not true, that I know it's not true, and you're trying to shape my worldview to believe your worldview, that's not healthy or safe or smart. And we can't allow that. That's just, if they're going to shape, Christian, if they're going to be able to convince you and shape your mind around something like that, is fundamentally simply done and created by God as it is, and you're now being forced to like profess something that is not true. You're already corrupted. You've already conformed to the ways of the world, right? Like you can't do both these things, man. You can't be a truthful person, right? So Christianity doesn't separate love and truth, right? So you gotta to show love is to withhold truth, and they go synonymous, right? Love rejoices with the truth. That's in First Corinthians 1:13. So if love requires truth, then being told like love me by affirming what isn't true is basically asking you to redefine love itself. Like you got to stop that. You got to cut that down, right? So you're not rejecting the person, you're rejecting the idea that this person's trying to puke onto your lap and you're just dumb enough to start eating and now you start puking. Like come on, man. Like this, gross representation there, but don't let the paradox absorb you and pull you into the world, right? So there's some mad tension here. You can love somebody without agreeing with them. If for some reason you get to a place where you just feel you're asked to do this, just do. You can respond like Christ would respond kindly. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but I'm not going to say that. And then walk away and say and do nothing and don't make a speech and don't try to be a freedom fighter for truth. You have done your part. You have served and you've carried on the legacy of truth onto the next generation. Lord, please, just let them. And this is obviously at some point we should raise the bar on this, but fundamentally we have to talk about just defending truth with your own mouth. Christians, there are so many complicated things and so many wonderful theological things that we could be talking about that are way more complicated. But guys, this is not one of those things, and this is not one of the cases. Lock in.